Stugotz here. Football returns Thursday night, and huge cash prizes are up for grabs at DraftKings, the leader in one-week fantasy sports. For the season opener, DraftKings is hosting a fantasy football contest that has a $1 million top prize and is just $10 to enter. For a limited time only, if you sign up with code HUDDLE, you'll get a free entry with your first deposit. So download the app or go to DraftKings.com now and use code HUDDLE to sign up and get a free shot at $1 million with your first deposit. Only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Hey, Molly Karam here, host of ESPN's First Take, and I am super excited because football is back, and you know where you'll find me this fall, at the game, thanks to Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. With the Vivid Seats app, it's so easy to find awesome seats to any game, and every purchase is backed by their 100% buyer guarantee. Head to VividSeats.com and enter promo code ESPN at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Get in the action with Vivid Seats. Your team needs you.
Guaranteeing promotional terms available on VividSeats.com.
We were going to play a game of chicken, Izzy, that Chris suggested to see who the first person to talk would be. And then you pointed at me, and I felt like that was the end of the game.
Good game, man.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Billy.
What's up, Billy?
Hey, Billy.
Football.
Hey.
Yay.
Woo.
Can we set something straight here right now? Who's here today and who's not? Because I know some people are going to be disappointed thinking that things have changed all of a sudden.
Wow. So you want to start by letting people know who's not here so that they can already give up on us?
No, not give up. Just, in some cases, they probably listen closer.
All right.
Well, when I first saw you on the schedule today, I was like, this is exciting. Izzy's finally in with the whole crew.
Yeah.
And then I realized that's not the case.
Finally, after how many years?
Can we talk about that?
What's
going on there? Because I feel like you really want to be... By the way, just so everybody knows, Dan is here today.
That's what I wanted to get across.
So that's good.
Mike is not here today.
Correct.
Mike is not
Another
here today.
round of applause. I'm kidding.
And Stugotz is not here today. But Izzy's here today. I'm here today. Yes. Dan's here today. Chris is here today. Roy's here today. Allison's here today.
Hey, Allison.
So by my math, everyone except Mike and Stu.
That's good math. Is that 35% less of the group? It might be.
Is that math? All right, so what's going on with you? Because you seem to really want to be part of the show, and you want to always do, everything with the show. You want to be in the Grid of Death. You want to be in the fan... Well, you're going to be in the Grid of Death today.
The thing.
Spoiler alert.
I'm going to be in the what?
The Grid of Death, the Bucket of Death. That's happening today.
Spoiler
so
alert.
welcome to the party.
Thank you. That's all I need. I just want to rummage around in that little thing and pick a helmet and then just go on with my life. Like, I don't need to be here every month, every week.
But you want to be, though.
I don't want to be. Look at all the faces here. Look at all the faces in this room around me. Mm-hmm. Any of them mine? Yeah.
No, and there's lots of faces in the room that are no longer really super active with the show.
Yeah, there's one with an X through it. I'm assuming that's Charlie.
Yeah.
And Pablo's down there, too.
Yep.
I think he's like, I don't need to be a part of every week, but I'd like to be established, which you are, I think. You are, like, people associate you with us, don't they?
That's the funniest thing, is like, oh, I love you on the Le Batard show. I'm like, I'm only on there when Le Batard's not there. So, do you love me on the show, or is it just like my name comes up every once in a while and you hear it and you think, oh, he's part of the show?
Well, the good thing about that is at least they listen when you're filling in, which a lot of times is not the case when we have fill-ins.
I guess, or they could be really confused and think that they see me on the TV show, which therefore makes me part of the radio show, which every other co-host down there was part of the radio show.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Some people have no idea the difference between the two shows.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm out in public, like, oh, I love the show you work on with the old guy. It's like, yeah, I don't work there.
It's like, Stu's not that old.
Yeah.
Speaking of guys that aren't here and being part of the show, so I was listening to the local hour yesterday, as I normally do when I'm heading home via the podcast. Mike he almost made me drive off the road. Like I don't really turn this show off when it doesn't matter who the guest is. It doesn't matter how boring, somebody is on the phone. I never turn it off. I was close to just scrubbing forward through Mike's rant because I've never heard, and I don't mean this one time, I mean in general in my life, never heard somebody that's just such a fan and he lacks the self-awareness. But here's the funniest part. As much as that drives me nuts, like listening to Mike talk about the Hurricanes, listening to Dan talk about him it's like they're polar opposites, but it's for the same reason. There's nobody, there's no team, no player, no organization, nothing that Dan is more emotional about and has less perspective on than the Miami Hurricanes. Like, if you listen to him, that is passion. It's like Mike saying, oh no, everything's okay, perspective. Dan's, oh, they're terrible. And when they win a good game, oh, they're great, I'm so happy. When they lose, oh, they're terrible. Like, he can't have sort of a middle ground there. There's very little, there's lack of perspective on the Hurricanes, and I never, ever think that with any other subject Dan talks about.
You realize that, like, while you're here today and then you're going to go away for a little bit, like, that's not the case for us. So, like, you're putting us in a really bad spot. What do you want us to give you on this?
Is he here? You can talk about him.
Who?
Dan or Mike.
Oh, Dan will be here today. You make it seem like we can say things here and like, it's not going to get back to anyone.
But you noticed that, right? Like, you're sitting there listening yesterday and you're, looking at Mike and like, Mike, you're driving us crazy. I just want to run out of the studio here. But the other side of it isn't really that balanced either.
So, what's funny is, you know how Amin started on the show? Amin started on the
you
show
are so scared of Dan.
by being a guest whenever Sedano would fill in. And we would only call Amin when Sedano was in. And then eventually, Amin became like a co-host. I guess he came on 1 or 2 times with Dan, and then he became like a co-host, and now he does things with HQ. So maybe that's the path that, like, you can get. But it's weird because you have a very established relationship with Dan.
And he's done a show just with Dan before.
Yeah. Well, who, me?
No,
yeah, I believe
this is
no,
the first.
George was there.
Yeah.
It was me, George, and Dan.
I just have a memory of you starting a show with Dan being like, why have I never been here before? I'm pretty sure you've done a show with just Dan.
He did a show with Dan for an hour one time when Stugotz went
That's
somewhere.
That's what it was. It was an hour with Dan when Stugotz left early. I think I did the final, which is, that's what that was. 2 segments, right? Because the 12:30 is always a guest, and 45, I think it was a Friday.
So it was a club. Yeah.
So it's like, hey, can you come say 10 words?
Yeah, for 30 minutes.
We'll think about putting your picture on the wall.
It could be worse. The first time that Katie Nolan was on the show, I felt so bad because she was here for like an hour. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think that it was like 14 words that she spoke because the first segment...
That was rude of us.
...was just music playing and them dancing to music with clips thrown in. And it was just dancing.
Entire segment. One of the few times we've done an entire segment.
And so she hadn't been introduced yet. It was just, hey, you see Katie on TV and all of a sudden it's just people dancing and nobody talking for the entire segment.
And she was nice and acted like, she's like, I'm just here to fit in. It was funny, but I'm guessing that she was not thrilled with that.
Like she's not from here. I am, by the way. She's not from here. It's not like she comes here easily and yet she flies all the way down here to say 10 words.
And then the next time she came was like right after they announced the contract signing and she brought all of us like DVDs to like celebrate. And then she came back the next day and they were all still there. So she was mad about that, I think.
She brought you all DVDs to celebrate?
Yeah, it was like a gift, like a present. Like she got gifts. Like, hey guys, here's, whatever, like Terminator or something. I think they're still here. I shouldn't say that because that's not polite. But I think the DVDs are still here somewhere. I took like 2 of them home because I intended to watch them and just haven't quite gotten around to watching them yet.
Was it like a movie you'd seen before, or you said Terminator? I don't know.
No, I think
old movie that she got from a bin and decided to hand out to you guys.
I mean, it was a nice gesture. It was the only gift that anybody got us. I think. I didn't get any gifts.
Do I need a bit? Do I need like a gimmick, like you got the back in my day, the black in my day. What are the other gimmicks? What did Pablo used to do? Did he do anything?
Pablo was just like
pompous.
Annoying, yeah.
We have one with you. We established the last few times.
The Izzy or isn't he?
You don't like that? It seems.
No.
See, it doesn't really require me to do much.
That's
of
true.
anything,
But it has
right?
your name, Izzy or isn't he? By the way, nationally, we have a new segment today. I haven't run it by anyone yet.
No, this is going to go well then.
The thing about that is that there's also not really anyone here to stop me. So I can try to do it.
Is that Mike's role usually to stop you?
There's no one here to stop me today. I haven't run it by Dan. Dan can easily just say no and then we don't do it. You want to know what it is?
You want to know what it is?
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
All right, Izzy, get ready. It's a groundbreaking segment called...
I didn't tell you I was ready yet.
Okay,
I'm ready.
You ready now?
Yeah.
It's called What Things Cost. I'm not going to tell you any more.
I'm excited.
I'm not going to give you any more info on that.
Well, I've always wanted to be on The Price is Right, and that sounds very similar.
Should we explain?
Wow.
I think we should explain it.
No.
It's a confusing premise.
Is there a little
Let it be a
hill climber
surprise.
with music, and you have to get really close, otherwise he falls off the cliff?
Listen,
I guess
you're
now we
gonna
gotta
have
get
to
music.
listen. You're gonna have to listen to the National Hour if you want to hear what things cost is. Now, another exciting thing. I talked to Izzy about this yesterday. Also, we haven't really locked this in, but I'm just gonna announce it. And if we don't do it, we don't do it. And it's not on me. Next segment. It's the return.
What?
Of Allyson Turner's Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Oh, man.
Wow,
This is
okay.
perfect timing because all your drafts are probably complete, so now you can ask
I would hope so.
start them and sit them.
Yeah.
Who do you need? Who you start in week one? She's
There's
got
al-
all the answers.
There's also
waiver wire.
last minute drafts too, man. Last minute
You
drafts.
think there's last-minute drafts like on the days of the game, or do you think they just kind of say, hey, even if it's a night of the game or after the first Thursday, we'll just count those for your score?
I was in a draft one time that was on opening night. Like while the first game was going on, I remember there was the Steelers playing. I don't remember what year it was. Steelers were playing. Sure. They had like a receiver. Maybe it was Green Bay. I don't remember. And some receiver like went off, and he ended up getting taken like really high and then did nothing the rest of the season, which was like perfect.
It's worth not really high, but it's worth a week one win.
Well,
to
that's
just
the
kinda
thing.
Steal that, right?
Yeah, you get the point. 786-456-4837, by the way, if you want to get in on the Fiesta.
I still am somewhat confused as to what the Allyson fantasy football fiesta is. Is she's taking calls, like fantasy football calls, like Jamie Eisenberg?
Yeah, she can answer your questions. If you have any fantasy questions,
Allyson, why don't you
ask.
come explain it? Allyson came up with this idea. Great idea by her. She's kind of pushing the segment a lot, but we've only been able to do it once, so we're going to try to do it again today and see how it goes. I think the first time we did it, it went well. 786-456-4837.
This was an idea I had for a really long time.
It
I
was
couldn't
your
wait.
idea.
It was my idea. I couldn't wait to do it. I love football. I especially love fantasy football.
I had no idea, Allyson. I just assumed you hated all sports, and that
I-
Dan maybe you did used to like them, and then Dan made you hate them.
Well,
Did you know that Allyson Turner last year was our league, which you haven't been invited to yet, was our league's fantasy football champion?
wait,
Does
you're
it
not,
lessen it
wait,
because
why aren't you?
the year before Dan won without actually doing anything?
That
Does
is
she
true.
win?
Nah.
All right, well, congrats, Allyson.
She's mad about it because she hasn't gotten championship shirts
Well,
yet.
do you find it interesting? The first year Dan wins. No,
Mm-hmm.
the first year Mike wins. He gets shirts. Charlie actually got shirts for the runner-up, which is super weird. Dan wins the next year. They get shirts.
What did the runner-up shirt say?
They were comfortable.
It was.
It was as if he had won because we ordered like promo shirts just in case so we could shoot like a championship celebration. Charlie's championship shirt, the most comfortable shirt.
shirt ever.
Chris, can you say comfortable again, please?
The most
One more time?
comfortable.
Comfortable.
Man.
Comfortable?
That's the Stan Van Gundy. You pronounce every syllable in that. Most people say comfortable.
Who, me? Did I say comfortable?
No, you see that you did.
Comfortable.
Yeah, it was the most comfortable shirt that we've ever had, and there was only like 8 of them, and I somehow ended up with 2 of them because I got one for the ceremony, and then we were cleaning out, and I found some later, and now I have 2. So great.
What did the shirt say? Did it say second place?
No, it said champions. We had 2. It was like in the Super Bowl. We had 2 sets of championship shirts made, but only like 8 of each, just so we can shoot this thing. And then we ordered like a boatload to send out to people.
And there was a ceremony.
Yeah, there was a ceremony on the roof of the Clevelander with the trophy and apple cider because we can't use real alcohol. But we were pretending as though it was real, and we were spraying it, and we were celebrating, which was weird because we all had teams, but we were all celebrating with the winner, even though the winner beat all
We made
of
it
us.
through a season.
Yeah, it's strange.
And this year, Allyson, no shirts for you?
No shirts. What do you think about that?
I find that very questionable. I feel like
Yeah.
all the other guys in the shipping container have been pushing all these other projects, and it's just cleaning out the budget, and they, you took the L on the T-shirt.
Yeah, it's super rude.
It is rude. But
Also,
how did you come
super
up?
rude that you're not in our league.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I agree. Randy Scott's in our league. Why?
Randy Scott. Why? Because you guys decided to mock him one time, and then all of a sudden he's part of the show?
Rude.
That's it.
786-456-4837 if you want in on the Fiesta.
Can we ask non-fantasy football questions, Allison?
I mean, I'd prefer that because I really,
whoa,
I'm sorry.
you
no,
said
no,
you
no,
love it.
I do love it. I do. I do.
sound
I
like
love
it.
it. I'm a walking contradiction.
Yes.
just
Allison,
never
by
know
the
what's
way,
true.
yesterday swung by right before I did HQ, right? And she had texted me that she was going to give me this, but I totally forgot. And I was listening on the air when you guys were talking about Gary Busey coming on. And in my head, I was like, oh, okay, Gary Busey must be coming on in the noon hour, what have you. Nope, Gary Busey's coming on today. And Gary Busey scares me to death. Like, just by watching him. I have no idea. I don't know what his deal is. I really don't have no idea. He just scares me. And Allyson comes over and hands me this really thick hardcover book, Buseyisms. And I'm like, is this homework? Do I have to read this to interview him? Should I read this because he scares me and I want to have good information? I didn't even crack the book open, but I'm really, really frightened about this interview today. I might just sit it out.
It's going to be great. I thought it would be, the way Dan talked about it, of it being a train wreck, I was waiting for them to write me and say this isn't going to happen, but it's going to be great.
There's still time for that.
Thanks for being positive.
Will it be better than the fantasy football fiesta?
Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Let's talk about buying a home for a minute. Because of rising interest rates, there's a lot of unpredictability when it comes to buying a home these days. It's causing a lot of anxiety and stress for a lot of people. Well, our friends at Quicken Loans are doing something about that. They're calling it the power buying process. Here's how it works. Quicken Loans will verify your income, your assets, and credit in less than 24 hours to give you a verified approval. That gives you the strength of a cash buyer. Then once you're verified, you qualify for their all-new exclusive Rate Shield approval. This is very cool here. First, they'll lock your rate up for 90 days while you shop. Now, here's the best part. If rates go up, your rates stay the same. But if rates go down, your rate also drops. Either way, you win. It's the kind of thinking you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To get started, simple. Go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. Rate Shield approval. Only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data records. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard. Aren't you trying to run a homeless guy out of your cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
You want to tell the people that story? Stugotz.
There's a homeless guy who is living in our community up in Parkland, and I'm aware of him. I've seen him. I've given him a loaf of French bread, but I don't have the heart to kind of go to any, of the management there and rat him out. I feel bad for him. So my strategy is if I tell enough people, perhaps someone will go to management and get him kicked out. But now he's upgraded, man. He's got like a little scooter. Got a basket on it, so now he just drives around the neighborhood. And I saw him this weekend, and half the loaf of French bread that I gave him a week ago is still there in the basket. I told him to eat it already.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
This is so exciting.
I'm excited, man.
I mean, I feel like you ever feel, man, it's like you're with a bunch of friends or family that you haven't seen in forever, or in this case, you usually only see through the TV or hear on the radio. And now you guys are like in the studio with me. Allyson and Billy are on this side of the glass. They're free from the shipping container. And it's like we have like our own control of this whole big to-do.
What do you want to do?
I want to do a fantasy football fiesta.
Me too.
I don't even...
Uh-oh.
I was wondering if it was okay to make those sounds. But
well,
Chris,
let's try to avoid that if possible. The last time, the first caller started doing a fake accent, and we're like, nope, gotta go.
No, people get in trouble for that.
Yeah. 786-456-4837, Fantasy Football Fiesta. Now, Izzy, this is your first time at the Fiesta.
Yeah. First of two.
We've done one Fiesta before. Last time, Greg Cody was in. So, Greg Cody, if you feel like participating in the Fiesta, feel free.
Okay.
To answer the questions. We'll take calls. If you have any questions, feel free to ask Allyson. Can you turn it up a little bit?
Yes, please.
Ooh.
If I'm not talking, I'll be in the corner dancing.
Are you in a league?
I am in two leagues. Both of those leagues, I mentioned Jamie Eisenberg the last segment. He's in both of them, and he is the CBS fantasy football expert, so we're already starting off at a handicap.
Does he win every year?
No, I won one of them last year for the first time in 18 seasons.
Did you get shirts?
I haven't got anything yet, guys. Hello?
Is there
Anybody?
a trophy in
Venmo?
your league?
Is there a trophy? No, there's cash.
Really?
It's a cash league.
I think I'm going to get a trophy for my other league this year, like my family league, just to have something. Cause we were talking about playing for cash, but we haven't really settled on that yet. And I was thinking of getting a trophy just to have something. I've never won it, though.
For those who wish they could see this, Billy's actually just bouncing up and down to the music as he talks. It's great.
I was going to ask you, why are you bouncing?
This music's great. You don't like this music?
Not really.
This seems like it's multiple songs.
Oh, it is. There's a live
mashed together?
No, there's a live mariachi band in the corner playing for us.
Oh, there they are. Are we taking calls?
Yeah, you ready to get started, Allyson?
Sure.
You excited?
I'm very excited. Ecstatic.
All right, here we go. First call. Quinn, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Hey, Allyson. I'm a big Miami guy, huge fan of Peepo. So I got a lot of Dolphins players, a lot of issues, So Derek Carr or Ryan Tannehill?
PPR or non-PPR?
I don't know what that would have to do with the quarterbacks, but it is a PPR league.
Wow.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill.
Can we ask
Derek
for
Carr.
why? Can we get some analysis on that?
No analysis. I don't like the Dolphins. How's that?
Don't
That's
like the
my
Dolphins.
analysis.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like that's good analysis.
Big fan of Peepo, by the way.
Did he say people or Kiko?
Pretty sure he said Peepo.
I think it was Peepo.
Yeah.
I'll let people know when I see him. Matt, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
All right, with all the action movie conversations of the last week, is Gary Busey a top 10 action movie Hall of Famer, Allyson?
No, Matt, no. Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Matt,
What is it?
PPR or non-PPR?
Sorry, I hung up on that.
I know.
I mean, what
Busey.
has he been in? He's only been in Predator, right? What else was he in? That's the action movie. I
No
don't really
recollection.
know. Yeah.
I mean, his career. All I remember is reality shows after that.
And I didn't see Predator. Is that terrible?
Ooh. Does Dan know that?
No. He may know that. I don't. I have no desire to see it. It looks really bad. That's
No.
probably blasphemous to say.
No, I mean, I don't know if it holds up. Does it hold up?
Predator?
Yeah.
I saw it for the first time like a month ago.
And?
While I was watching it, I thought it was... You know what bothered me about it? Is that they give me so much crap about liking the Fast and the Furious, and they're talking about the Predator as if it's the greatest thing, and it's an invisible alien attacking people.
Yeah.
Like, that's believable, but
Deadly.
Vin Diesel can't take down submarines?
Yeah.
Please.
Never seen Fast and Furious, so I can't really make that comparison.
Me neither. Not one.
Your job, Allyson.
Not 1 minute.
Who are you people?
I mean, I have no desire to see it.
What do you watch? What's your movie?
What's my go-to movie of
What's
all
my franchise?
time?
Like, if I
Yeah.
had a movie franchise?
Yeah.
Oh, man. PPR or non-PPR?
All right, let's take another call. Blake, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Hola, starter Mercedes, Mitch Trubisky.
Wow, starter Mercidum, Mitch Trubisky.
PPR or non-PPR?
0.75 PPR.
Wow.
Stardom or Stidham? Stardom.
0.75 PPR.
Stardom. Feels good.
Feels good. It feels
feels
right.
good.
What team does he play for?
Chicago.
How dare
Can't-
you?
I
Can't
mean,
fool this
how
one.
dare you?
Can't fool this one.
Thanks, Blake.
Especially when it comes to Chicago.
How dare you? You guys don't like...
I don't really like this music. Your bouncing is super weird.
All right. Kyle, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
So I'm setting up my league for tonight, and should I do a PPR league or a non-PPR league?
Wow.
Allison, why don't you break down the benefits of a PPR league versus a non-PPR league?
Well, a PPR is and the non-PPR is so I would go non-PPR.
Wow. There you go, Kyle.
What do you think?
What did you just say? Can you repeat that?
That's what PPR is.
So you told them, what was the advice to Kyle? Was it Kyle?
Go non-PPR.
Non-PPR.
Yes.
All right. No PPR.
What do you think? PPR or non-PPR?
I think I'll answer that when you tell me what it means.
I feel like that analysis was pretty good. It was pretty good. What? How about you?
Brian, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta. Brian?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the
Allison.
Fiesta.
Yes, Allyson, this is a PPR league, 2-quarterback league, okay? And a friend of mine has Case Keenum. Won't with an 8, has Case Keenum. How bad is the team?
It's
Wow.
pretty bad.
Wow.
Who does Case Keenum play for, Allison?
Thanks, Brian.
Case Keenum plays
Marvin.
for the Broncos.
Welcome
You know why I
to
know
the
that?
Fantasy Football
He was
Fiesta.
just on the show. And he
Hey guys, and Allison.
Hey, Marvin.
So I recently had a draft, and the guy who had the number 1 overall pick, the commissioner delayed the draft for him so that he could pick who he wanted to. And he ended up choosing.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
way too familiar.
Who was that? Marvin.
That's your friend. You're going to his wedding this weekend.
That was X through the face.
That was Charlie?
Yeah.
Oh,
you didn't
wow.
recognize that was
No, I
Charlie? He was
didn't.
calling to complain about Stugotz.
It's new
Delaying
money
this
Marvin.
draft.
New Money Marvin.
That's what he called himself?
No, I made that up.
Oh.
Oh, really?
How long did Stugotz ask for the delay? How long of a delay did he ask for?
There was all kinds of issues with our draft. It was supposed to be a week ago, and then it couldn't be a week ago because there was a last-minute scheduling conflict, so it got delayed a week. And then they set it at a time that no one from this show could participate in, which, I mean, it's the show's fantasy draft, so you'd think they'd pick like a time that people could do, but they didn't. So then they moved it back an hour to accommodate us. And still, Stugotz had it delayed, like, I'd say at least 9 to 10 minutes, because he was trying to figure out the app.
You're in the league, Allyson.
I am.
And Dan is in the league.
He is.
So how does Dan do his draft if you're not doing it for him?
That's a mystery. That's a mystery I can't reveal. That's one of the show's secrets.
Dan was on auto draft this year.
This year, again.
Yeah. Allyson, there's some speculation, and I don't want to throw anyone out there, but there's some speculation that Allyson has someone running her team for her. Yeah.
It's speculation.
Chris, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Allyson. So, myself, like many other people across the country, are upset about the Jerick McKinnon going down.
Oh, yeah.
So, I need another number one running back.
Wow.
So, what I have, quote unquote, my number one is Jay Ajayi. But my only other one, I picked up Burkhead today. Do I start Burkhead or Bernard? I got both of those.
PPR or non-PPR?
Non-PPR, Allie.
Burkhead, it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
I don't even have to think about this.
No-brainer.
No-brainer.
Awesome. Thank you.
Also, do your draft later so you don't draft Jerick McKinnon. He was hurt like a couple weeks ago.
Man.
Thanks, Chris.
I know.
I see. That's funny. I would think that Burkhead might catch a couple passes out of the backfields from Tom. So for non-PPR to pick him, I think is a little questionable.
Well, you're not the fantasy football
Are you
expert,
questioning
Izzy.
me? Is that
No.
what's happening?
Tony, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Hey, Andrew Luck or Matt Ryan, 4-point PPR.
Wow.
I didn't hear the latter part. Did you say PPR?
Full point PPR.
Half
Not
point
half
PPR.
point.
Oh, half
Excuse me,
point
half
PPR.
point,
Wow.
half point.
I
Half
also
point
didn't hear the
PPR.
question.
Matt Ryan or
Andrew Luck.
Matt Ryan.
Half point PPR. Don't
Matt
forget.
Ryan.
Wow.
Are you going to question me, Izzy? Because I feel like you're about to question me.
nope. You're good.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
You're a champion.
Thank you.
Champion gives out great advice.
Oh, wow. This is going to be a good one. Josh, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Hey, Allison, I know you've been doing your research and everything, so I'm sure you got a good sleeper quarterback for me, right?
Oh.
I study every day Jimmy Garoppolo. I should have said PPR, non-PPR. I forgot.
You just like him so much, it doesn't even matter.
I like him so much, that's my sleeper.
Wow, sleeper, Jimmy Graps. PPR and
All in.
non-PPR. All in on Jimmy Graps as a sleeper QB this year in fantasy football. Allison Turner.
Why do you like Jimmy
I mean, he's
Garoppolo?
super hot.
Wow. That translates to the
Damn it.
points, guys.
It is
does.
fantasy football.
Oh, see
Let's
what he
go.
did there, guys? 786-456-4837 if you want to get in on the Fiesta.
Is that how you won your league, the won
It
this
is.
league last year?
I only
Yeah.
pick those kind of guys.
Hottest team
Yeah.
in the league.
David, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Hey. I drafted Carson Wentz. I need to pick up a QB off the wire. I'm thinking Tyrod Taylor. I got Trubisky there. Do you have any other deep sleeper QB guys?
Deep sleeper, not just sleeper now. It's deep sleeper.
Wow.
A deep one.
I mean, what's wrong with what you have? Is it a PPR league or non-PPR?
Wow.
I drafted Wentz, and it's PPR. Wentz is hurt. Not going to play.
Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know that. I'm
Whoa,
not
calm down, Allison. Relax. Don't attack poor David. This is a fiesta.
David, stick with what you have.
No, he's injured. He can't. He needs to draft another one.
He said he has Trubisky, and he also has somebody
I'm sorry.
else.
Pardon me.
No, he's saying those are his options on the
go
waiver
Trubisky.
wire.
Wow.
I like Tyrod, though. He's got
I don't like
more
Tyrod.
options.
Ooh.
Slightly less attractive.
Why?
Because
What's
Chris Cody can't pronounce his name, that's why.
Whoa.
Oh, I don't.
It's a really good reason.
Okay, I'm gonna take Trubisky.
Okay, cool. Let me know how you do. I'll be
I
rooting
will.
for you.
I will.
Call back next week, David. Thanks. 786-456-4837 if you want to get in on the Fiesta. Roy wants to get in on the Fiesta.
A bit of Heat news here. Udonis Haslem was re-signed with the Heat, $2.4 million.
That has nothing to do with this.
It's kind of special news, so I had to deliver that.
Oh, please. We can wait 10 minutes for that.
Fantasy Football Fiesta!
Mario, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta. Opening night, Allison.
Hey, Allison.
Yes, man.
Start or sit. Starter sit Josh Gordon this weekend.
PPR or non-PPR?
It is a PPR league.
She's never been more confident now than when she asked that question. Like, you look at her face and it's just like glowing because she's so proud of her knowledge.
I have deep knowledge.
Deep knowledge?
It's deep and true.
Who did you just sit?
Josh Gordon.
Mario, I have a question for you now that you're at the Fiesta.
Yes, sir.
Do you go by Mario or Mario? Because I heard Allyson say Mario.
I said Mario. I said Mario?
Yeah.
I go by either.
No,
It really doesn't
you
matter.
need to
My
eliminate.
parents say Mario.
Oh,
My
okay.
family says Mario.
That's your
but
parents' mistake. It's Mario.
Well, he could be a Mario. All right, thanks, Mario.
Is the Fiesta over?
Oh, no, it's just getting
feel
started.
it's over.
Bob, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Hi there, non-PPR. Do I take Le'Veon Bell and play him this weekend just in case he's in there? And also, do you put lemon juice in the guacamole?
Wow.
PPR or non-PPR?
Non-PPR.
Haas or Florida avocado?
Ooh, good question.
Draft him. Don't start him.
What about the lemon? I think that's a great question. It's me personally, like I do lime juice, but here's a great little twist, and it's great for guacamole. Little orange or tangerine instead.
What?
Totally different kick.
Sweetness.
Totally different flavor.
All right.
You still got to bring the heat with a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of cumin, with definitely a little bit of orange in there if you want to substitute the lime or lemon. Lemon, I haven't tried yet, but I get it.
Izzy, did you bring an onion?
I did not. It. I did not bring an onion, although we have 3.5 hours for Beepo to go buy one.
I didn't know you were a guac guy.
I'm a guac guy. I make some pretty darn good guac.
All right, thanks, Bob.
It was my go-to when I was off gluten for a while because the corn tortillas are gluten-free and avocado is healthy and stuff. So, but I'm back on gluten if you guys were curious.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Least healthy thing that you've had most recently.
Most recently, least healthy thing, it was very recent. I think this past weekend I had some pretty unhealthy food. I'm going to have to think about exactly what it was. I know there was a creme brulee French toast involved.
David, while Izzy thinks, welcome to the Fantasy Football
I'd like
Fiesta.
to share something. We asked Dan yesterday.
All right, hold on one second, David. Allyson has something unrelated to fantasy
astounding.
football.
We asked him because we were sent a bunch of Reese's stuff because we did a poll. Is Reese's a candy or a candy bar? And he has not had candy, chocolate candy bar, Twix, Hershey, since grade school.
That's a lie.
Not even high school.
Absolute lie.
That's what I said, Izzy.
He probably doesn't remember it.
Wow.
Guarantee you on a drunk
I
night he
haven't
bit
had
into a
it.
Snickers bar one night.
He says he has
Accusation.
Cal, but he
Thrown
hasn't
around
had
willy-nilly.
Hershey or Twix or anything like that.
What's the caller's name?
David, welcome to the Fantasy Football Fiesta.
You believe him, David? You believe he's never had a candy bar since college?
No,
I don't
grade
believe
school.
that at all.
Grade school.
How can you
Grade
not have a
school.
candy bar?
Wow.
I don't know. What's your question?
Matt Breda, James Conner, or Will Fuller at the flex PPR?
Wow.
I didn't hear you. PPR
James
or
Conner,
non?
Will Fuller at the flex spot?
Yeah, at the flex spot. I have Will Fuller as my option, James Conner, or Matt Breda.
James Conner, Will
say
Fuller.
Will Fuller.
Wow.
Go all in with Will Fuller.
I'm pretty sure she just said that because we were talking about food.
Even though he's questionable, Allyson.
We're all
Well,
questionable.
We're all questionable.
It's a good pick.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you, David. And that, my friends, concludes another edition of Allyson Turner's Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Did you know ADT can design and install a smart home just for you? A new smart home at your service, customized for your lifestyle. ADT can even close your garage door while you're at your kid's soccer practice to help keep criminals and critters on the sidelines. Well, that's what I call goal-keeping service. It's all controlled from the ADT app or the sound of your voice and backed by 24/7 protection. Visit ADT.com/smart to learn more about how ADT can help keep your home safe and smart.
Don Le Batard. Strap it on here, Dan. I'm going to take you for a ride. Strap yourself in is what I meant. Not strap it on.
Strap one arm.
I meant strap yourself in here, Dan.
Stugotz.
Listen, it was a poor choice of words, poor phrasing, but I meant strap in because there are several big words coming up in this last story. Don't strap anything on.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
How old is that rejoin? I never heard that before.
It's brand new.
It's brand new? Yeah, he said strap it on kind of comfortably there.
It was in the Sui's.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Did it win?
It did not win. Uncomfortable moment. Went to
moment.
the Rob Manfred interview.
Oh, that was several moments, not just one. So Roy tried to interrupt the Fiesta with some news we all knew was coming. But Roy, you want to give that to us again?
Udonis Haslem has signed with the Heat for the veterans minimum, $2.4 million.
Shocking news. Shocking news. You guys excited about that? Do you think that means that Dwayne Wade's right around the corner, or they got one roster spot open?
Oh, yeah. The captain's back. Wade's going to come back soon. Yeah. Happy about it.
You guys see Wade playing ball with some randos?
I was just about to ask you that. You like that, or are you saddened by it?
Well, it'd be cool to be at a gym and have Wade show up.
It would be crazy cool. Like if I was in New York yesterday when he tweeted out, "Hey, NYC, where do you hoop?" or what have you, I would have gone to every gym to find him. That would have been exciting. However, watching it, I wasn't so excited.
Yeah, the dunk, not too impressive.
He wasn't trying very hard. Let's give him that. I mean, I'm not trying to say he's some old man, 50-year-old trying to show off for the kids. Like, I get that. He wasn't trying very hard, but yeah, I don't know if I would post those if I were him. Like, I would post those if I were the fan. I'd be like, hey, look at me. I'm guarding Dwayne Wade. And some of those guys one of those guys, that first one where he's, I guess like a mid-post, right? And he backed him up a little bit and
he almost called a foul.
Did he?
Like, stop reaching.
Did he? I did hear him say stop reaching. It just, I don't know. It wasn't the same as watching, guys get dunked on or, guys get blocked or whatever. It's crazy fun, though, the idea of just playing against Dwayne Wade. Like, what would you do in that scenario? Would you try to guard him? Would you just sit on the corner and watch?
Well, I'm not going after his knees, if that's what you're kind of implying here.
No, I'm not implying any such thing. But I would want a chance to defend him. Like, if I get a hand on the ball, if I deflect the ball, even if he later dunks on me, if I do anything to make him work, to make him even think twice about what he's doing, I would consider that a success. I would post that and I would celebrate it.
This is a highlight reel. This is the first time I see it. Like, there could have been those moments and they just didn't make the highlights.
I mean, but how hard do you really think he's trying? Like, he's
really sweaty, man.
I played basketball against a couple of professional athletes. One was a former NBA player and one was a current day at the time NFL player, Jason Taylor, and I played with John Crotty. Crotty in 06. I think I told this story before. I can't remember. But Crotty in 06, we were in Dallas covering the finals, and a bunch of the writers always get a game together during the finals, or they used to when I used to cover the finals. And I think we saw John Crotty show up like he just left the hotel gym, like just sweating and just left the gym, and shows up, and we convinced him to play, and somehow I ended up guarding him at the start of the game. And it was just a bleep show. Like, I remember just being, a foot in front of the three-point line, in a defensive stance, hands wide, waiting for him to come at me full court, and he doesn't even make a move. He just pulls up right in front of my face, his crotch lined up with my face, and I look up, and he's just shooting a three, and it's going in. And the next possession, same thing. And it's like Steve Nash. Like, Steve Nash being guarded by, I don't know, a 50-year-old Tim Hardaway. It was pretty intimidating. So, Dwayne Wade, taller, more athletic, crazy ability. Yeah, I think that would be an amazing experience, but it would just humble you to no end.
Which writers were in that game? Was Ethan Skolnick running point?
Ethan was not there. Chris Broussard, I think, was playing that game. What's it? Spears?
Stephen A?
Stephen A was not there. Mike Wise, I think, was there. I don't know if people know who that is. It was a decent run. Like, there's some, like, Chris Broussard can play some ball. I think he played at some low-level college, but doesn't like to pass very much.
Wow. What sports personalities have you played with that you could, expose their strengths or weaknesses? Like, is Sedano a good ball player? Have you played with Sedano?
I played with Sedano a lot, actually.
Bash somebody. Tell us who's really bad.
Man.
Oh, yeah. Now who's uncomfortable? Now who's uncomfortable? All right, who was really good? Fine, Izzy. Who was really good?
Even that's a tough answer. I got to think about that. You know what? I played with Dan.
You played with Mike?
I did play with Mike.
How is Dan?
Dan is...
Backs you down?
No, I mean, he kind of, but I think, and this is so dangerous. He's within earshot. He doesn't really like the low post, even though he's bigger. He kind of likes the high post because he likes to sort of see the floor and make these nice passes, right? So he's kind of like a Vlade Divac. Hey, that's not so bad. Dan plays like Vlade Divac.
I played sort of against Izzy once a couple years ago. There was a fantasy, or not a fantasy, it was like a media tournament that the Heat had. This is before
Wait,
Izzy
you were
really
there?
knew. Yeah, this is
That's
before
the time I played with Mike.
This is before Izzy really knew me. I wasn't on. No, oh wait, it gets better. I wasn't on the ESPN team. I was on the local 790 The Ticket team, and Roy was on my team too. And Izzy was on the ESPN Miami team, and they had their first game, and they were
Who was on my team? I only remember Mike.
It was you. I think Haberstroh was on the team.
Yeah.
Mike was on the team, and I don't remember who else. But they were there, and they were like showing off the first game. They won by a lot, and then they got destroyed the other game. So everybody thought, "Oh my God, this is a team."
We did not get destroyed.
This is a team to be reckoned with. You don't want to mess with the ESPN Miami team. And then that was the end of that. They had that one good game. But in pregame warmups, again, Izzy didn't know me at the time or didn't know of me. He was making fun of me because I was wearing running shoes. And
that was you?
Yeah, I was wearing running shoes. He was making fun of me for that. And then I decided my only goal on that day was to make a 3-point shot. So I was just at the
in warm-ups or in a game?
Oh, both. Right. But in warm-ups for sure, I was just up there and I was throwing up 3-point shots.
Just looking at your form right there.
Not
tells me
even
they did
close.
not have a good chance of going in.
Oh, but I hit something. I hit Izzy below the waist by accident. And he didn't remember this, obviously. But I missed so bad it didn't even hit the net. And Izzy was under looking for a rebound, looking the other direction. Boom.
I do remember.
Below the waist, crotch shot.
I do remember
So
that.
I'm sorry about that, Izzy, even though you don't remember me.
Running shoes.
Yeah, I was wearing running shoes. Hey, look, it was a last-minute thing. I didn't think I was going to play, and they told me, "What do you think, Dan? Did I just have like a locker full of sporting goods? I don't basketball. Look at me. Does it look
You
like
could
I
have
play
borrowed some from
basketball?"
Mike. You know, Mike has got a closet for every event. Closet full of clothes. Dan, did you hear that? I said you played like Vlade Divac.
He said you had that court vision.
I was soft. I had a soft game. Yes, I was a big man with a soft game.
I have long arms. I'm lanky, so sometimes when I play, I just kind of go like this a lot. For those of you who can't see, I'm just waving my arms like one of those things in front of a car dealership, and I just wave my arms like that and hope that I touch the ball or that people are like, "Oh, I don't want to deal with this guy. He's so long," and they just pass it away from me. But I'm not
pass it away from.
Yeah, I'm not that coordinated, so I can't really like block shots or like rebounds. I can get up. I'm kind of tall and I have a long reach, but I'm not aggressive enough to jump up and push people out of the way. Yeah,
Not surprising.
You and Dan both in the soft big man category. Do they also pass it away from you when you're on offense?
Yeah. And if I get the ball, it's like a hot potato. I'm just trying to pass it along to someone else.
You're a nervous basketball
Oh, no,
player?
I'd like to keep the ball moving, Dan. I like to keep it moving, keep the other team on their toes. I will admit this, though. One of the proudest moments of my life. I did hit a 3 in one of the 2 games that we played in that media tournament from the Ray Allen shot. That's all I was going for that day. It was just hit 1 3 and I got it. I got the 3. Now, we didn't have enough players. I wanted to sub myself out because I was dying. I was not in good shape for this game.
That's actually one of the things that people don't recognize until you're out there. Like even in a half-court setting on an NBA court.
Long.
It's terrible.
No, I know. People do not realize how giant those human beings are and what their strides are because you will get tired a few times down the court.
I'll never remember the first NBA game I went to at the, not the AAA, but the old Miami Arena, walking in and thinking, did the court shrink? Because it didn't look like these guys had any room to move around. I'm like, how do they make these passes if everybody there has a 7-foot arm?
Seems like you
wingspan.
remember that.
That I remember.
You said I'd never remember it.
I wanted to sub myself out. I was seeing blurry. I was like, oh my God, this is such a bad decision. Why did I do this? What do I gain from this? What was the positive in this? The positive was they were giving away like Dwayne Wade shoes or something. That was a prize. I was never going to get that.
I'll never forget it. I'm sorry, Chris.
It was me, Roy, I think Adam Turan, the Tarantula, was on our team, and like some other person, like Sale. We were not a good squad.
Who contributed more, Roy or Billy?
Oh, Roy wasn't good. I feel comfortable saying that Roy wasn't very good.
Yeah, that's not true. I played a whole bunch of defense, man. A better defensive.
Oh, no.
That's what the bad basketball players say.
That is the lament of the bad basketball players. I played so much defense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I focused on my defensive game, and I passed the ball.
Roy might be, this is going to be crazy to say, Roy might be the worst, outside of Allyson, athlete in that group, but the most confident athlete in that shipping
It's
container.
puzzling. Roy's, you know what? Roy's athletic skills don't translate. Have you ever seen like Patrick Ewing or Alonzo Mourning in a batting cage? They look unathletic. They look like they can't swing a bat.
John Wall.
Roy can hit a home run and has out of the baseball stadium in town. But put a basketball in his hands and he's going to play a lot of defense.
I played baseball, Dan. I was not a basketball player. I avoided that.
Naturally, baseball and hockey, naturally.
Yeah.
What's with the shot at me? I mean, you're looking stunned that you don't know what I'm talking about. You just took the what was that?
That was a horrible assumption on my part. For all I know, you were some star track athlete in high school.
She was a gymnast, actually.
Ooh, a gymnast. A tall gymnast.
So what was that? Why did you just take a shot at me? What was the assumption that I'm the worst athlete in this room? Because look around for a second, and I want you to just look around and then just think about that and say,
but
because
that's
you
the
went
problem.
all in with me being the
You're
worst.
absolutely right. I went visually because initially I went visually and thought Chris would be one of the worst athletes, and he is the best athlete, arguably within a 10-block radius.
Arguably.
And Billy, and I think Billy's secret here is length and height, like he said before. Like
Billy looks like an athlete.
Yeah.
I am an athlete. Listen to me, people. Listen good. I was a Division I college athlete. Can any of you say that? Nope.
No. I mean, you know, get rid of that little fast food belly and you look like an athlete.
Wow. I mean,
But-
what's your deal
but
today,
you're
guy?
still-
Now I
but
know
you're
I no
still-
one invites you around here. Now I know why you're never a guest co-host and you're not in any of our leagues. You're a jerk, bro.
You're attacking Billy's belly too. That hurts me.
Jeez.
No.
Louise.
But you see, when you're when you're athletic,
What's your goal today?
when you're
Turn everyone
athletic
against
like you guys, it doesn't matter what you look like, right?
What
It's
is
a
that?
visual.
What does that
What
mean?
is what
What
is
does
this?
that mean?
What is going on here?
He just wants to bring the conversation to how he looks shirtless on some railroad tracks.
No, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Dan always wants to bring it to that conversation. I don't. I wonder why that is. Who's the one who exposed those photos?
Was it me?
Yeah.
I mean, they're great photos. They're
really
amazing.
Yeah, they really are.
They're amazing. I shared those with the world. You're not going to make me feel bad about that. I'm not going to feel bad about wanting to share those photos.
And I'm not going to feel bad about looking like that.
You clearly don't. Once you take your shirt off and lay on the railroad tracks, clearly you feel pretty good about how you're looking when you do that. It's not something I would ever do.
The shirt was never on to begin with.
You just went.
He
there.
walked out of the house.
You went to the photo shoot.
He
just
put
in
on more
jeans.
clothes. He wasn't wearing pants.
I
when he
was
got
too
there.
busy rolling up the cuffs of my jeans to actually put on a shirt.
Remember before my wedding when I said I'd recreate those photos?
Oh, yeah, what happened to that?
That was fun.
I just love the idea of Billy playing basketball. There's only one time. Am I wrong about this? There's only one time in the history of professional basketball where you have seen athlete trying to get rid of the ball in a fervent fashion. And it was at the end of the finals with LeBron in the last 5 minutes where LeBron was just passing the ball very quickly to the perimeter. And it's not something we've ever, when have you ever seen that before? I imagine that's how Billy plays basketball.
So
Just
I'm like LeBron.
scared. Yeah. Well, the scared LeBron who wouldn't post up JJ Barea.
I'll
Yes.
take it. I'll take it.
You were,
LeBron like.